Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press. As you're very well aware, on Sunday, His Excellency President Bola Tinubu will be departing Abuja for New York to attend the United Nations General Assembly of 2023. Of course, aside from the engagements he's going to be having at the General Assembly, aside from the active participation that the Nigerian delegation will be engaging in at the Assembly, there are a series of very important side activities that will have wide-ranging ramifications on the Nigerian economy. As you are well aware, following Mr. President's very successful trip to New Delhi for the G20 and the staggering amount of investment he has been able to attract to Nigeria in a very short period of time, he is going to continue advancing very aggressively on his economic development diplomatic drive to aggressively attract foreign direct investment into the country. So with that, I would like to inform you that His Excellency Mr. President will be having the following meetings with major chief executives and leaders of multinational firms cutting across multiple sectors of the economy. The President will be meeting with the President of the Microsoft company worldwide, Brad Smith, with respect to how we can deepen digital transformation in the country and to how we can expand the digital economic footprint in the country to ensure that our micro and small enterprises will have access to the internet and have access to other smart technologies that will facilitate their ability to transact business quickly and efficiently. Mr. President will also be meeting with Sir Nick Clegg, who is the President of Global Affairs for Meta Technologies. That is expected to be a wide-ranging conversation with respect to how we can leverage on new innovations such as artificial intelligence and certain other applications to impact the way we do business in Nigeria. His Excellency Mr. President will also be meeting with the global CEO of General Electric. Of course, the General Electric is a very well-known international organization that cuts across multiple sectors. They have very deep involvement in the energy sector, electric power generation, aviation, engine production for multiple modes of transportation, amongst many other inputs. So we expect that to be a very important interaction. Furthermore, His Excellency Mr. President will be meeting with the global CEO of ExxonMobil oil and gas company. We see this as a major opportunity to once again lay out in detail what Nigeria has on offer with respect to the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act and the fiscal and tax incentives that are being put forward by President Bola Tinubu to further advance investment in the oil and gas sector, not just in terms of oil, but more in terms of gas, but even in the oil sector, looking very closely at what we can do in the deep offshore and some of the associated opportunities in that sphere. Again, these are just one-on-one meetings with these delegations. These are just a few of them. We are also going to be participating, His Excellency Mr. President will be participating in the Africa Global Business Initiative, essentially another platform that's more like a roundtable where you're going to have really lucrative enterprises, high-level chief executives from around the world wanting to listen in on what African leaders with particular attention to the Nigerian president, what he has to say in terms of the opportunities available to invest in Nigeria across sectors. That's going to be another major opportunity. The president will also be presiding over an event that is the Nigeria Small and Medium Scale Business Summit. And this is really a very strategic one. The president is determined to ensure that we don't just look at large industry, that we key in on opportunities that are being presented by small and medium scale enterprises, Nigerian-owned small and medium scale enterprises, and putting our own MSMEs in a position to make an impact in foreign markets. Yes, the president is focused in on attracting foreign direct investment, attracting jobs, attracting new tax revenues into the shores of our country. But he's also focused in on making sure that homegrown Nigerian companies have fair and equal access to foreign and international markets. This is a major aspect of the kind of wealth creation that Mr. President envisions in his renewed hope agenda. So we are going to do everything we can to support Nigerian small, micro, and medium-scale enterprises as they look to expand their operations beyond the shores of Nigeria, and that is what that summit is intending to do. In addition to that, the president will be speaking at the UN high-level reform of the global financial architecture. This is a sequel to the engagement Mr. President had in Paris. It will essentially allow our president to lay out his vision for a fairer international financial system that does not any longer leave out developing countries from the decision-making table. He's very determined to drive this. He's leading it from the front, and that's a very important engagement on his schedule. Aside from that, there will be two major summits at the UN, aside from, of course, general debate at the General Assembly, which is one, the UN 2023 Summit on SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, at which Mr. President will be very actively participating. And there will also be the UN Secretary General's Climate Ambition Summit, at which Mr. President will be laying out his plans in concrete detail for Nigeria's energy transition and the role that our partners in the business community and foreign governments and non-governmental organizations will play in the actualization of Nigeria's ambition to get to net zero by 2060. The last point I want to make is on His Excellency Mr. President's schedule of bilateral meetings. The President, again, focusing in on his economic development diplomacy, will be having investment at the front and center of his conversations with his counterparts around the world. And these engagements include bilateral meetings on the sidelines with the President of the United States, with the President of Comoros, with the President of South Africa, with the President of the European Union Commission, with the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, with the King of Jordan, with the Algerian President, with the Brazilian President, and with the Spanish Prime Minister. And there are some that it's still dynamic. There are some that will still be added. But it's fair to say that within a very short few days in New York, His Excellency President Bola Tinubu will certainly be one of the most active and one of the most sought after heads of state with respect to his engagement in both bilateral and multilateral platforms. With that, I thank you very much.